The economy is on the verge of crashing. In a moment, I will explain this, and what I'm about to tell you is centered on the U.S. However, it applies to the rest of the world. The dollar is strong today only because other fiat currencies in the world are in a worse state. Nations worldwide are spending themselves into enormous debts that they cannot pay off. As for the dollar, the actions that have been initiated by the BRICS nations are bound to catch up with it. Now, with that said, there are mounting indications that severe economic crash is on the horizon. Despite the White House's continued promotion of President Biden's economic programs' purported triumphs. Just how well has these green pork barrel Inflation Reduction Acts worked, and these similar programs? The current state of economic indicators, like the drop in M2 money supply, haven't been observed since the 1930s at the height of the Great Depression. The repercussions could be disastrous if the government doesn't immediately cut its inflation causing spending. Federal Reserve interest rate hike that we've just had isn't helping much as they're slated to reduce demand. But broke people are already down to buying just the essentials. The reduction in demand for consumer goods, cars, and services is bankrupting companies, causing people to lose their jobs and threatening smaller financial institutions that finance all of this. We are heading toward a financial crisis that may make the Great Depression look like a Sunday school picnic. Guys, these are reasons you might want to check out Defy the Grid. At Defy the Grid, you can buy bullion. You can buy gold, silver, platinum, bullion, coins, rounds, or these little things which I like called Goldbacks, which this is 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold, but it's portable. You can put it in your wallet and you can go buy small items with it, unlike gold bars. So check out Defy the Grid. They got a special deal that says shop anywhere else too. If you find a better price there, they'll meet it or beat it. Now, how do you beat that? And if you use the code Green Gregs, Green GREEN GREGS, you can get 1% off. So there you go, my friend. So you save a little bit, and that'll help both of us. All right, guys. The Trump administration and a Democratic majority Congress allotted enormous resources to stabilize the economy, financial systems, and the stock market back in 2020 at the beginning of the COVID-19 government-imposed lockdowns, which, got worse under the ensuing administration. This accelerated during the Biden administration with additional government spending amounting to trillions of dollars. This was financed, of course, by debt and the creation of new currency. The Federal Reserve's policies, which supported increased government spending and kept interest rates at historically low levels, despite the warnings from the economy about the possibility of inflation, were the primary cause for the record growth in money creation. When we say money, we're talking about that fiat stuff that they call money, right? What's real money? Gold. Gold's real money. But anyway, that's another story. It appeared like the economic unrest brought on by the pandemic, lockdowns would soon end early on in the Biden administration back in 2021. The outlook was favorable because several states, starting with, of course, red states, had reopened. Biden, with the blessings of the Federal Reserve, kept government expenditures at elevated rather than returning to pre-pandemic levels. This is your borrow and spend Bidenomics, my friends. The Federal Reserve's low interest rate policy, the fallout from the Ukrainian crisis, all the money that's gone into that, and this choice to keep these expenditures up for Bidenomics, all contributed to the greater inflation rates, the greatest ones we've seen in 40 years. Price increases for consumer products, including fuel, basic groceries, were very significant, especially with groceries and things like that. They claim the inflation rate's at 4%. Oh my God, it's 4%. It's more like for some items 40%, right? If you've been to the grocery store, it's not just inflation, you got shrinkflation. Holy smoke. I'm buying $10 now for a package of chicken that used to cost me $7 something. And I used to get these enormous thighs and legs. Now the legs look like this, the thighs look like this. It looked like something come off a quail. Anyway, some of this, of course, was driven by disruptions in the supply chain, and which echo to this very day. You know, starting from the shutdowns back then. You know, you wreck the supply chain, takes a long time to get all that stuff back in order. And we just had too many disruptions. There's a lot of other things going on in the world that's causing additional disruptions. We've talked about that before. But the main key ingredient that kicked this off was, in addition to the shutdowns, which disrupted the economy, it's been the spending. The spending. That's the one thing there's many other economic troubles we'll talk about in future videos. But the key thing here, the one that is most controllable, that would least wreck the economy, believe it or not, is spending. The Federal Reserve started rapidly hiking interest rates in 2022 to combat this all out of control inflation. And this pattern continued, of course, into 2023. Little hikes all the way up, ding, 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 ding. The Biden administration and Congress continued to spend at rates higher than before the pandemic. As a result, despite the fact that inflation rates have officially reduced, they have not been sufficient to lower prices. How do you get inflation rates reducing? Well, okay, so the prices are set. Yeah, we're not getting prices going down, guys. Most consumer products, food, housing, and rent, continue to be more expensive than they were before the outbreak. Yeah, if you don't believe that, tell me in the comments below. Surprisingly, the amount of money, which includes cash, checkable deposits, and bank savings, has decreased significantly. This implies that when consumer prices increase, the amount of money available is decreasing, putting unprecedented strain on the American consumers. Prices up, money's down. This has happened nationally, it's happened internationally, and you know, to you as a person, you guys have less money to spend, but you got to pay more for the stuff you buy with it. That's why interest rates aren't working. You can't reduce the demand with interest rates because people are down to those basics anyway. So according to the recent economic data, which I've shown you in a number of my live sessions months ago, the annual M2 money supply has been negative for the last 3 quarters at least, which indicates a sharp decline in the amount of money available. Only once before, at the height of the Great Depression in the 1830s, did the money supply drop by such a significant amount. The situation is very different from the 1930s, when prices plummeted as the money supply shrank, which is what you would expect. Currently, prices are rising, despite the fact that the money supply is getting smaller, a phenomenon that has never happened before. And, you know, in the Carter era, we had something similar, but not like this. Remember stagflation? This is way beyond the stagflation of the day. These are strange and ominous, simultaneous inflationary and depressive forces. Now, some people say you can't have both, but guess what? We're in a unique situation. The things that are wrecking our economy today are off the charts. Household savings. American families are in a dangerous situation, result of practices of the Federal Reserve and the inflationary spending of the Biden administration, both working hand in hand to wreck your economy, your pocketbooks across the country. And this is happening in other countries too. To pay for needs, more people are using up their savings and taking on debt. The great majority of Americans who make up the bottom 80% of the income earners have less real household savings now than they did prior to the pandemic. Yeah, all that stimulus money, they've already had to spend it. And this is according to data from the Federal Reserve. In the upcoming year, even the highest income earners' savings are expected to drop below the 2020 levels. Everybody's been hit. Nobody's been spared from this. A greater reliance on credit cards and other consumer indebtedness has resulted from the dual problems of rising cost and limited financial resources. This is happening in your pocketbooks, it's happening in companies, and it's happened at the national level, international, everywhere. The total credit card debt held by Americans reached $1 trillion for the first time this past spring, and it's just going up. Taken as a whole, the consumer and national debt spell great trouble ahead. Consumers are in debt. The nation's in debt. The companies are in debt. Everybody is piled up debt. Too much debt. The state of the economy today is defined by growing costs, increased debt and expenditures by the government, and declining private savings. It is crucial that the continuous clash over expenditures that exists between the Congress and the Biden administration, the main driver for the potential government shutdowns, be resolved in a way that dramatically reduces the government spending. If a solution is not found soon, there may be a brief closure in the government. Maybe not so brief, given that the removal of McCarthy as the Speaker of the House was over cooperation with the Democrats, partially over the 45-day continuing resolution the government is currently operating on. A shutdown is much more likely when this 45-day period ends. And resolution of that shutdown may be a lot harder to reach. It may last a while, guys, and that's going to spell some high-level discomfort to a lot of people that rely on those checks. Social Security checks will still go out, mind you, as far as I know, and some of those things, but paychecks, the government employees, not. But of course, we are paying civil servants overseas in that country that's fighting Russia right now. Anyway, before it's too late, Washington, D.C. needs to rein down the spending and regain economic prudence. If not, a brief government shutdown will be the very least of our problems. As in the Weimar Republic, spending drives inflation. As the BRICS countries turn from the U.S. dollar, we will be less and less able to export that inflation. The more debt we accumulate, the larger portion of the federal budget that services the debt must be. No country is taxed its way into prosperity. Reckless spending will not get us there either. I mean, guys, at some point, the federal government will not, if we just kept spending and nothing was done, and if somehow I don't know, you can't manage inflation. See, these are all problems that you hit before you get to the big problem. We're hitting bumps in the road. We haven't got to the part where the bridge is out. Maybe I think we're actually on a train and the bridge is out ahead, guys. That's a better analogy. But we're shaking because the track's messed up. So guys, here's the thing. At some point, the wheels are going to fall off the train or we're going over the bridge, because you reach a point where you can't service the debt. Then the government goes in default. If the government goes into default, oh my gosh, lots of stuff ain't going to get paid. Lots of stuff ain't going to be paid, guys. So just keep that in mind. The American economy is on shaky ground. The United States may be on the verge of yet another huge economic crisis. And this is true. If inflation don't fall, and that can only happen if government expenditures are reduced. So, guys, I just got to ask you, what are you doing to get ready for an economic crash? Are you ready for an economic crash during the potential onset of World War III? I mean, we may get to that wag the dog situation to distract from all this stuff, and for administrations and bureaucracies, the state that's referred to sometimes as being down in the deep, if you know what I mean when my code speak. They want to stay in power, yet their existence will also be under threat. Their power, their reign on power will be on threat. So, that may be additional pressure that could lead us to a World War III, guys. And we seem to be heading there just as fast as we can go, because maybe they know this stuff. Maybe that's how they want to have us not change horses, in the middle of a war. That's the old adage, right? So, guys, what are you doing to get ready for World War III? I'll tell you what, you need to be set to grow your own food. Now, I know it's a long time from spring, but if we get into World War III, if we take on an EMP in the next few months, you ain't going to be able to buy no seeds. What you got is what you got. The music has stopped playing. You got to sit down in a chair, and you got what you got. That's it. Game over. So I would highly encourage you, if you've not bought seeds, buy them now, because you can plant and grow your own food. You can take them with you. They're easy to store, easy to take around. Go to True Leaf Market or Eden Brothers. You see my links for these. Use my affiliate links. You see them at the bottom of my videos. Many of them, I'll post them at the bottom. In the show notes for this video I'm going to post at 5 a.m. so they won't be in the pin notes until later in the day. But for you that are my coffee club watchers, having your cup of coffee and your breakfast. I drink my coffee before I go to bed. I ain't gone to bed yet. So guys, another thing to do, consider, I'll get it right now. Consider the long-term food storage. It'll take you a while to learn that garden and get it all down pat. And who knows, it might have a nuclear winter possibly, or other things that might keep you from growing initially or growing as much or as well. I consider getting long-term food storage and other prepping supplies, which you can find if you go to prepwithgreg.com. Prepwithgreg.com. We got specials there. Go check them out. Prepwithgreg.com. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say, God bless. Pray that somehow we avert this economic crash and ensuing war, which looks like it's coming at us mighty fast. So just remember, this proposition is channeled to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. But with all the stuff coming at us, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. It's coming fast, and it's coming in so many directions. It's mind-boggling. Thank you for watching. Greg out.